If you want to know what I think, I won't give that up for free. Put a penny in the crusher, on the back's my memory. I'll hold real still, you take the shot, but I don't want to see whether it turns out or not, it's all the same to me. If you want to know how I feel, put me down and walk away. My hands are already bloodied here in bed. I think I'll stay. In dreams I face dread most mundane when walking down the street. My pounding heart shocks me awake the moment our eyes meet.
Welcome to the 8th episode of Us at Our Worst, a caregiver's unvarnished account of cancer and dementia care. Episode 8 is titled Requiem for Carrboro A Glimpse into Mom's History. Okay, here are the upfront disclaimers. Each episode of Us at Our Worst will be available as a podcast for listening and on YouTube for viewing. Though I will be reading directly from the as of yet unpublished book, I will also be adding in commentary to help give a fuller picture of events. I introduce these as sidebars. Think of the sidebars like bonus episodes on a DVD, if you are old enough to have ever used a DVD. I also need to add some disclaimers. Us at Our Worst is a nonfiction account that covers topics such as terminal cancer, terminal dementia, and specifically what I believe was behavioral variant frontotemporal dementia. That's a mouthful. Physical and emotional abuse is discussed. There's a lot of swearing. I talk about acute depression, child abuse, downright madness. We talk about generational family trauma, and we also talk about drug addiction. So you have a front row seat to a fairly grim reality, and it begs the question, why am I going through with this at all? And it's because people shouldn't have to go through such things alone. Caregiving is lonely. It doesn't always have to be, perhaps, but it certainly was for me. And if even one person out there finds comfort in knowing that I went through and survived all of this, and it's the same thing that they are going through, then that's my reason why, to give them hope or at least understanding. You're still listening? Wow. Okay, then here we go. Us at Our Worst, Episode 8, recorded on July 21st, 2025. There's, just to recap from the last episode, there was just lots of crazy things. I guess I would sum it up as Mom's dementia is really kicking in. She had a case of thrush from her compromised immune system due to the radiation and chemo. And as a result, they had to cancel her chemotherapy. And we also had way too many visits to the grocery stores. You should definitely check out that episode if you haven't heard it yet. All right. So, and hopefully you cannot hear the super loud fireworks being shot off a couple blocks away from me here. That's annoying. Hopefully the mic isn't picking that up because I'm determined to read this tonight. So, first entry, November 13th, 2019. This one is titled Mom's Last Birthday. And yes, sidebar, that's foreshadowing. Yeah. So, update, 8:40 a.m. at the house in Forest, Virginia. Things are rough. I woke up at 7:30 a.m. to pee, and I hear Mom talking already. In the morning, that's always what you hear, especially now. She's doing the thing when her mouth is on automatic, allowing some part of her mind to just run free at a gallop. She's barely tracking what she says at moments like this. She wants to hire a handyman to come in and install brand new cabinets now in the house. She wants Dad to buy new storage containers, and she wants to sort through all of the summer clothes now. She wants Dad to take her to Fresh Market at 10:30 a.m. to go shopping for more groceries. Why not, right? You can never have too many bottles of mayonnaise or peanut butter or fruit cups. The refrigerator here is a testament to short-term memory loss. Duplicates abound. It looks like they are planning a party where everyone eats from a buffet line of mayonnaise, butter, milk, peanut butter, olives, relishes, and half-finished plastic bottles of Sunkist. We have 4 jars of peanut butter right now, people. We have 3 jars of mayonnaise, fruit cups and Jell-O cups. We probably have 50 of those combined. She also wants a massage now from a professional. How will we arrange this? I have no earthly idea, but she says her back is out. She says she wants new drugs. She says, Charlie, I need a strong muscle relaxer to fix this. I'm telling you that I'm in agony. Do you understand? Agony. Last night I sobbed with every step into the bathroom. Okay, update. It's 30 minutes later. She's now in a great mood. In fact, she's in the bathtub. Dad is making a bowl of sugar-coated cereal for her to eat in the tub. Yes, like ordering room service. She had called Dad in to say, in a sweet, syrupy voice, Robert, do you think you could please get me a tiny little bowl of grape nuts with half and half and sugar sprinkled on top? I comment to my father as he pours the sugar onto the cereal, so, you're giving her breakfast in the bathtub. Dad just goes, yup. Update. Oh, wait, actually, sidebar. Let me scroll it back up here a little bit. I just want to say that this was about the time, right around November 13th. I think this is the first time I recorded when Mom's mind was starting to run free at a gallop. I mean, I have definitely written down many things that she has said that were nonsensical, like that are spread out over the course of our drives from Charlottesville to Forest. But right around here, I believe, is the time when I really started noticing like that it was just becoming all the time. And oh my God, would it wear you out? It's like there was no off switch. And if you didn't listen to her, she would get really angry. So there wasn't really a way to escape. All right, back to this. Update, 12:30 a.m. Okay, so let's see. Where have we just gone from? We've gone from 8:40 a.m. until 12:30 a.m. Okay, so this means this is like after midnight. It's the next day, basically. I just start off saying, okay, but I really want to talk about the car ride we had after radiation because she talked about dying. I asked her about her past. Here is the synopsis. On her mother's side of the family, she had grandparents, the Olive Hoyts, who were from either Indiana or Illinois, and they had a grand dairy farm, according to my mom, and my mom's mom used to spend summers out there. Okay, are you with me? Recap. My great-great-grandma, Olive Hoyt, had the farm, and my grandma, Florence Smith, spent summers there. My grandma Florence very much emulated her grandma Olive, and Olive was what my grandmother called a virago. That's Virago. I'd never heard the term before until Mom told me the story, and I Googled it. Virago, quote unquote, a bad-tempered, domineering, or violent woman. Here's the thing, though. According to my mom, her mother, Florence, respected that. Apparently, Olive was a red-haired, powerful figure that ran the household and believed in a hard life and hard working. She sounded fierce and, yes, unkind. So that meant that my grandmother Florence's mom was affected by being raised by such a domineering personality. So then we jump to my mom being raised by Florence. I learned a ton of information I had never heard before. My mom grew up in McHenry, Illinois, along the banks of the Fox River. She was also raised by a virago. The legacy of anger and control has been passed down through the women. Apparently, my grandmother Florence was hell on wheels. She had her nice days, just like mine does, but wow, when she was mean, she was mean. And the similarities between my mom and her mom are exacting. My mom recounted being chased around the kitchen table as a child for disagreeing politically with her mother. She said her mom couldn't stand the idea that one of her kids would not see the world the same way that she did. She said that one time they had a big fight when Mom was still quite young, and Mom said that she walked out into the hallway after the fight and then eavesdropped on her parents. and she could hear her mother ranting to her father in their kitchen. And her mother said, and this is a quote that my mother made sure I got correct. So my grandmother said this about my mom. She said, "I will break that girl's spirit if it's the last thing I do." And then mom told me that at that moment, when she heard her mother say that, her whole life changed. She quit arguing with her mom, and she just decided to go along with whatever she wanted. That really surprised me. And I pushed against this. And I said, "Mom, but wait a minute. You and I fought so much. I assumed you were going to say that you fought her even harder." She says, "No, Charlie. That was the turning point in my life as a teenager. I just quit fighting for what I wanted and I let her have her way." She then recounted, as a newly married adult, how her mother would call her on the phone. And mom said that her mother would, quote unquote, tear me to pieces over the phone. On one phone call, my mom recounted to me she was painting the walls in her new home with my dad. And my grandmother brought my mom to tears over what color of paint my mom had chosen. My mom also talked about how sweet her mom could be, but holy fuck nuts, listen to this. Lean the fuck in. This is amazing shit I'm about to tell you. No, get even closer. Okay. She told me that her mom was the absolute kindest to her when my mother was sick. When my mom was sick, that's the only time when Grandma Florence would be reliably nice to her. My mom said that when she was sick, that her mother would pull out all the stops to be nice. Her mother loved to bring her food when my mom was ill. I mean, this is getting confusing with all the moms. My grandmother loved to bring my mom food when she was ill, especially milkshakes. My mom said that being sick comprised some of her strongest positive childhood memories. Those were the only times when the fighting between her and her mom was put on hold. Being sick was being loved. This is why when I tell mom that she isn't as sick as she believes, this is why she dissolves into a childlike state. It terrifies her. I am removing her last line of protection from attack, because to my mom, being sick means being safe. Being well means being vulnerable. My mom also talked about her mom's tendency towards anger at every turn, outbursts of rage at the craziest things. She said that her mom was afraid of people and a bit paranoid. She said that her mom would spend inordinate amounts of time looking into mirrors and saying things to herself like, "You really aren't that pretty." She talked about how, on vacations, that her mom would find something wrong with everything. She'd complain about every detail and spoil the vacation for everyone. Holy fuckness. That describes my whole childhood with my mom for nearly every meal we ate out and practically every vacation. And my mom talked about her mom's kindness too, their life in the country, summers on the farm, summers of swimming and rowing boats on the Fox River. And here's a point of just reference. Mom lived north of Chicago on the Fox River, but the ancestral farm was located in southern Illinois. Okay, I guess I figured that out later. Anyway, she spent winters building snowmen with her mom, sledding with her mom and her sister. I probably haven't mentioned yet, my mom has a sister named Kay. So winters building snowmen, sledding with her mom and sister, big family dinners. She said that her mom was the parent that would be out running around with the kids when the street lights were coming on, playing, laughing, having fun. Her mom was the one that got everyone singing in the car at night when they drive out to the train stop to pick my grandpa up from work as he arrived in from Chicago. My mom was raised by a virago, who was raised by a virago, and I was raised by a virago. And the legacy ended with me. Did she treat me horribly as a child? Fuck yeah. But I see now, even more than I already did, how these issues, just knowing about them, doesn't mean mastery. And I guess, a sidebar, what I mean there is just because mom knew, I mean, my mom did a ton of therapy, folks, a ton of therapy. So even though she had obviously worked with these topics a lot, I call it the awareness fallacy. Just because you're aware of something doesn't mean you've mastered it. I'll just leave that there. There are lifetimes where we don't get to break free of it all just because we can see it's holding us back. And my mom's message to me was always, I was raised by a violent person, and I have been better than her, and you will do better than I did. That's what she used to tell me. So what I'm seeing now in my mother is that she is hurting, and no one can show up to make it better. Cancer isn't going to just go away. I also see now why mom doesn't want to keep fighting. The poor thing has been fighting the ghosts of her past for her whole goddamn life. She's been waiting for the kind and sweet mom that she never had this whole time. Being sick was shining the bat signal into the sky, but Batwoman never showed up. My mom is out of lumens. How can it be that we come to this earth destined to treat one another so badly? So very badly that good people like my mom have to be haunted into her elder years with the abuse of her childhood. And she can't outgrow it at this point. She can't outsick it either. Next entry, Requiem for Carrboro. Saturday, the 16th of November, 2019. The time I penned this is at 2 a.m. in my apartment in Carrboro. And just for reference, this is like 4 days after the last entry I just finished. I tilt my head back and I stare at the ceiling at 2:38 a.m. in Zoe's bedroom. I'm leaning on her flowered comforter, my feet on her pink carpet, her old wise woman tanagram poster that she drew by hand staring at me from the wall. Her robe that no longer fits her hangs on the corner of the door. Her green half-moon pillow sits next to me. Quinn's famous bookshelf is in the corner, absolutely stuffed with books that are not to be ever given away, his rules. His Lego box that is 2 feet by 1.5 feet by 3.5 feet is filled with 40 pounds of Legos. And that box is my steamer trunk that I took to Austria as an exchange student in 1991. I had it shipped over by boat and back again. Our Kali sticks from Blue Ridge Kung Fu sit unused on the floor. Eskrima, anyone? Sidebar, Eskrima is a type of martial art, I believe, from the Philippines, where you fight with sticks. Back to the story. I don't know, man. I just don't know anymore. Not a thing. Where is my life going? Why am I in such an incredibly long and protracted period of rescuing others? I swear that I want my own life. I honestly and truly want to live in my own terms, climbing, skiing, filming. I want release and freedom so much. How much longer will I be placed in a situation where taking care of others is required of me? I want to do more than that. Sorry, morals and ethics police, but I want to live completely selfishly for a while. This is my last night in my Carrboro apartment. Yep, that night sucked. Next entry. Okay. Oh, it says, okay. I will pee. Tuesday 19th, November 2019. Update, 11:30 a.m., Hyatt Place on Bond Street, Charlottesville, Virginia. My head is spinning. I'm sitting in the windowsill of the Hyatt Place on Bond Street in Charlottesville just now. Oh, I was sitting in the window just now. Mom is lounging on the other bed. The impeachment stuff is on the silenced TV. Sidebar, I guess that's in reference to Trump impeachment stuff. Mom has decided that, quote, I am not dying in the state of Virginia. We're moving back to North Carolina, quote unquote. She wants to move back for real. It's now a new plan, folks. Her and Dad made this plan last night without talking to me first. She's announcing it with the same joy that she'd use if she discovered chocolate cake on her plate. To recap, I just moved them out of their house they'd lived in for 34 years down in North Carolina in June of this year. I moved them into an apartment in the same town in North Carolina. That move took 6 months to complete. Yeah, 6 fucking months. Overall, it was a struggle that lasted over a year for me because of Mom's beginning of dementia-like behavior. Then I helped guide the process to them finding a home in Virginia. Then I coordinated the move to Virginia. And now Mom wants to reverse everything and return to North Carolina. Oh, and she says, quote, "We want to buy Joanne's camper. Bob and I want to buy a camper and travel. Oh, and we will set one camper up in Lynchburg so that we can stay there whenever we want." And now she's talking to Dad, who just got back from buying a belt and, gasp, donuts for Mom. And she's going on and on with glee, saying, "We need a way to be outdoors." She says, "Did you know that Tuesdays are the better days to travel from North Carolina to Virginia with a camper on the back of your minivan?" I just think to myself, no, I didn't fucking know it. I didn't know that till you told me, Mom. Update, 3:15 p.m. I cannot keep my eyes open and I fall asleep in the radiation waiting room. Update, 4:30 p.m. We're on the road back to Lynchburg. Mom says that we have to stop at McDonald's for a sausage, egg, cheese McMuffin and hash brown and Coke. I agree. Then she says no, she doesn't want that. I agree. Then she says she wants 3 hash browns. I agree. Then she falls asleep before we even get there. Update, 5:10 p.m., sorry. We pull over at the McDonald's. She jostles awake with words coming out as she is waking up. Yeah? What, Mom? She shakes off the cobwebs and wakes up a bit more. Egg and cheese McMuffin, right? Well, Mom, you said you didn't want that. Oh, right. I don't. There's a pause. I have to pee, though. So park instead of doing the drive-thru. Okay, Mom. I pull in and I start parking. Wait, what are you doing, Charlie? I'm parking. Why? So you can go inside to pee? I don't want to. So what should I do? Make a choice, Mom. Oh, okay. I will pee. Night hike. November 20th, 2019. Update. 9:08 p.m. at the Dublin Coffee House. I just hiked a loop of 600 feet elevation gain loss over 1 mile with a 12-pound sandbag held over my head, at night, without a headlamp, in the forest at Liberty Mountain. I spotted some sleeping deer. I stood under the black sky and soft stars winking. I found my way down the side of the mountain in the dark, rolling from ankle to toe. Leaves crunched, navigating by feel. Heaven for me. So grateful for the owl, then owls that showed up to say hi. When I spoke via their language, one of them got closer. Based upon previous conversations with owls, I'd say that they were within about 300 feet or so. I was flattered to be included in the conversation, heard over the babbling brook that Lake Trail brambles alongside of. Next entry, Sunday Fun Day. Sunday, which is November 24th. And all I say is location is Forest, Virginia, 12:09 p.m., so that's the middle of the day. Lynchburg and not Charlottesville. I'm at the Starbucks on Old Forest Road. I don't feel like looking at all the records now, but I can safely say that she is on day 6 of about 1 cup of food and very minimal liquid intake. I keep wishing that this was honest. I wish I had a mom who was strong enough to be honest and fight a fair fight. She's supposed to be surviving cancer and cancer treatment. I'm supposed to be here to help her with that honest fight to stay alive. That's a valid cause. That's a real and just cause. But instead, she's just doing what she's always done, times 100. And I am here just holding her stupid fucking hand while she uses cancer as an excuse to go all out. I just want to call this what it is. My mom isn't dying from cancer. She's dying from dementia. And that means that we are treating the wrong illness. I am not a critical support. I am an angry spectator who isn't allowed to leave. And I'm going to end the reading there. Outro. I want to mention, as you were listening to these stories, just remember, these are my experiences. Not all cancers and dementias produce the same behaviors that I'm witnessing and reporting on. And before we go, let's talk about that project logo cover art. It's made by my youngest kid, Zoe. And yes, that's a photo of me climbing out of my mom's actual pillbox from 2020, thanks to the magic of Photoshop. In the intro and outro song, You Can't Stop Humming Out Loud, it's an original tune composed and sung by my eldest kid, Quinn. He recorded this when he was helping me take care of my mom, and he played it for her. Last but not least, I had that track sound mastered by Jay Siebold at sieboldsound.com. If you ever need sound mastering and mixing work, be sure to look him up at sieboldsound.com. And I have him linked in the show notes. On YouTube, I posted a standalone video of just that song in case you want to play it on repeat like I do sometimes. And links to both the podcast and the YouTube versions will always be in the show notes descriptions of either one. See you next time.
If you want to know what I think, I won't give that up for free. Put a penny in the crusher, on the back's my memory. I'll hold real still, you take the shot, but I don't want to see whether it turns out or not, it's all the same to me. If you want to know how I feel, put me down and walk away. My hands are already bloodied here in bed. I think I'll stay. In dreams I face dread most mundane when walking down the street. My pounding heart shocks me awake the moment our eyes meet.